Is gossip worth the cost? That's the topic that we're going to be addressing today on Flourish-Meant. I'm your host, Tina Yeager. And today I have the privilege, honor, and blessing of introducing to you a friend of mine that I've known for many years. This is Donna Mumma, everyone. She is a former school teacher. She's also an award-winning author of both fiction and nonfiction. She can blend story, mystery, and a touch of faith in her stories. Welcome, Donna, to the show today. I'm so glad that we had a chance to have an episode where we can have a conversation together.
Thank you so much. It's fun to be here.
Donna, let's talk about why gossip is a very relevant topic today for all ages.
Oftentimes we think, oh, it's just simple, harmless gossip, but it truly isn't. It has some very long-standing ramifications. Simply in the workplace, there is a plethora of research that shows the amount of productivity that is lost on the job every day. There was a statistic that I saw that a 15-minute gossip session amounts to 65 hours of work lost per year, even if it's just one 15-minute gossip session once a day between two coworkers. That's 65 hours of work time lost. And the amount of money that a business can lose with just that amount of just two people talking with one another can be in the millions, because it not only affects the two people who are talking, it affects anyone who overhears it. It affects the people whose work is not getting done because they took that 15 minutes a day just to chat, as many people say. It's been shown to do extensive damage to teamwork in a business or a school or any organization where you've got people working together, because it's very divisive and it causes so many other smaller problems that we often don't even think about. Because if someone overhears you talking about them, then you've lost a trust there. If other people hear you disparaging someone, then they've lost the trust not only in you, but also in the person that you're talking about. There's no really good possible thing that comes from it, because it's generally negative. It's generally not shared with the best interest of someone, and that just kind of grows. It's not something that stops just between those two people, because we all know bad news runs and good news crawls. And so the level of damage that is done with this in so many relationships, not just work relationships, but also family relationships, because trust is destroyed and unity is destroyed. And ultimately, as Christians, we've all seen, even in churches, gossip can destroy and divide a church and sink it just as fast as other problems that we might think are much larger. So you get into some very tough situations just with, oh, it's just a simple thing I heard. Well, it's really not.
That is so true. It's very toxic. And we all know that it's something we're not supposed to do to some degree, whether you're a Christian or not. You have some idea that this is probably not going to benefit the person that you're talking about.
Right.
Yet we do it anyway. Why do you think people continue to gossip, even though we have at least some idea that this is probably a bad move?
That is a good question. And I think it's has its roots in a lot of different things. Sometimes I think with people, it's a means of revenge. This person slighted you in some way, so you want to get back at them by spreading some negative thing that you know about them. Sometimes in the workplace, especially, it's used as a power move to disparage someone and possibly get yourself in their spot to get something from them, or to remove someone from your team or from a project you're working on because you've had simply a personality conflict with them. Sometimes I think it's even a means of fitting in. I'm the one that's got all the good stories. Everybody comes to me. That's my spot in the group. And it's generally done for some kind of personal gain. And like you said, it's a toxic way of doing it. It's an easy way because everyone is drawn to it, and that's an easy in. But it's toxic, not just for the person you're talking about, but also for you, because people will lose their trust in you. If you're willing to talk about that other person, who's to say you're not willing to go over somewhere else and talk about me that way? So you put up a wall around yourself when you think you're trying to fit in and you found your spot, but you're actually creating a wedge with that will keep you out.
That's a very important point to make because most people that begin to gossip are doing it, as you said, out of insecurity,
Mhm,
out of selfish gain motives, thinking they're bettering themselves in their position and protecting themselves, even.
mhm.
But they end up doing more damage to themselves than
Yes,
helping themselves in the
yes.
end. So there's another cost. It's a social cost in
Mhm,
addition to the monetary costs that you
mhm.
mentioned. What about for younger people? Is this a bigger issue or the same for younger people than it is for adults?
Social media is built on gossip. You go through any little thing, any set of reels or something, and there's a lot of talking about other celebrities. Did you hear about what happened to this person or that person? And a lot of the kids are on the social media sites these days. They spend a lot of time there. If you just watch them for not very long, you see that many of them are building their influence and their platform on just gossiping about celebrities or politicians or sports figures or just people in the news in general. The kids do hear this. Our youngest son is in his 20s, in the college age. And he talks about things that he hears kids saying at school about things that they've heard on social media. And most of it is very negative. And he gets very discouraged by it because he said there's oftentimes they are making their viewpoint of this person or this position that this person is talking about based simply on what they've heard on these gossipy places, on these gossipy platforms. And he said they're not taking time to do their research to figure out, is this true? Is it uplifting? It's just, oh, I heard so and so influencer say this. So that must be true because they said it. And, especially like in an election year where we're trying to decide on who's going to be leading our country, you're hearing so many things from all over. And a lot of it is very negative. It has really nothing to do with their ability to lead. It's more character assassination or, can you believe they did this 20 years ago? And I just see across the board, it seems like gossip does not seem to be something that is just for one age group.
And historically, this is not a new problem, is it?
No. Oh, no. I mean, the Bible is filled with verses about slandering each other and using uncaring speech or, all of that. So it's not a new thing. I think it's an unfortunate dark side of human nature. It's more fun to talk about someone else and their problems instead of ours. We hide ours behind someone else, or it's a way, as you said, if you're insecure, it's a way to make you look better compared to someone else. Well, let me tell you, they did that, but I don't. So you kind of you're building up this very false narrative for your own benefit, which it really isn't benefiting you. So it's a kind of a vicious thing to get into.
And you center some of the themes of your recent book
I did.
on the issue of gossip. So, can you tell listeners and viewers where they can reach you, stay connected with you, and get a copy of your wonderful new novel?
Thank you. They can follow me on Facebook. They can follow my profile, Donna Mumma. They can also follow my author page, Donna Mumma Writer. I'm also on Instagram, Donna Mumma _writer on Instagram, and I post a lot about the book there. And I'm currently working on the sequel, so you'll see some things about that too. And the title of the book is The Women of Winton's, and you can find it on any of your favorite booksellers.
I hope that all of you listening have been informed and motivated to eliminate gossip and find ways to heal if you've been the target of it. And of course, I also hope that you will hit subscribe and come back for the next episode of Flourish-Meant.